everyone, welcome to Educhemy's YouTube channel. Myself Karuna Mishra, and we will be continuing the government scheme series. We have already initiated the schemes from the finance sector, and we will be continuing with the same theme. I will be covering three schemes today from the finance. The first one being an accidental insurance scheme. The second is PM Mudra Yojana, a very famous scheme, especially for encouraging self, business or the enterprises. And the third one being the scheme which was designed for exports in compliance with the WTO norms. So let us start with our first scheme, which is Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. There was a purpose that I did not keep this scheme in the last video with Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana so that you do not get confused. The reason being here, the age bracket is different. The age bracket is 18 to 70 years. Whereas in Jeevan Jyoti Yojana, which is a general insurance scheme, there I'm having the age bracket between 18 to 50 years. So here that one difference is there. Rest, yes, it is also the scheme within the Ministry of Finance, and any citizen which has a bank account can avail the benefits of Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. Now coming to the features of the scheme, a little confusing though easy to remember. It is an accidental death insurance. So it is a very noble move by the government of India. Reason being, the premium here is only 12 rupees per annum. So by paying such minimum or such less premium, the family gets the coverage or the individual gets the coverage of 2 lakh rupees, and in case of death the money shall go to the family. Or if the individual has suffered total or irrecoverable loss of one, both the eyes, use of both hands or feet, loss of sight of one eye, or loss of use of hand, in that case I'll get the coverage. But this coverage is 1 lakh rupees. Only this coverage is 1 lakh rupees, that is just half in case there is a total and irrecoverable loss of sight of one eye or loss of use of one hand. So if it is both eyes and both hand or feet, the risk coverage shall be 2 lakh rupees. But if it is just one eye, one hand or one foot, the coverage shall be 1 lakh rupees. So these are the features of the accidental death insurance. Again, a very noble move by the government to bring the people, especially those who are in the unorganized sector, and especially villagers and urban poor. So this is nothing but an insurance. The unorganized sector, the villagers, the urban poor people who generally do not opt for insurance, fearing the heavy amount of premium that they have to pay, government has given an easier, a much simpler and less amount for the premium. Hence, anyone and everyone can pay 12 rupees per annum and can be covered with the accidental death insurance. So the next scheme is Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, one of the most successful schemes from the Ministry of Finance. The idea was to encourage entrepreneurship, to encourage people to have their own businesses. And the first and the most important thing when you encourage or you want someone to have a business is to provide capital or credit. So this is the scheme in which the government has a fund for the unfunded. Very important. The government has created a fund for the unfunded people who cannot avail credit or find it difficult to find credit in order to start business, to by bringing such enterprises to the formal financing system and extend affordable credit to them. So this is the first point, which is to fund the unfunded. Second is to bring the enterprises into the formal financial system, and third is to provide them affordable credit. Now coming to the eligibility, who all are eligible? Any Indian citizen who has a business plan. I don't think there can be more simpler way to say that what is the eligibility. Any Indian citizen who has a business plan and shall be in the non-farm activity. The business plan shall be in non-farm activity or non-farm sector, has to be income generating. It has to be non-farm and it has to be income generating. What do I mean by that? You can have an activity of, let's say, langar, but is it generating income? No, it is not generating income. It should be income generating activity such as manufacturing or servicing, such as manufacturing or service, whose credit need is less than 10 lakh rupees. So next point is the credit need should be less than 10 lakh. So what did I understand by this? First is the government is trying to curb the informal credit lending system. All the sukhi lalas, all the money lenders who charge exorbitant rate of interest, and these businesses somehow are not able to grow. So government wants to bring them into formal financial sector. Who all are eligible? All the Indian citizens who have a business plan, has to be a non-farm activity, has to be income generating, should be in the manufacturing or service sector, and the credit requirement should be less than 10 lakh rupees. All of them are included within the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Now within Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana also I have three products or three limits. So the first product is Shishu, then Kishore, then Tarun. So this is based on the way a child grows. A young child, infant, is called the Shishu. When the child starts walking, becomes school going, they are called Kishore. And Tarun is when they are post their adolescence and trying to enter the world. That age is called the Tarun. So depending on that, the loan amount or the loan uh, upper limit is also there. That is up to 50,000 is within the Shishu bracket. At least 60% of the loans should be in this category. Rationale being, this is the amount when you want to start a business. So why government has said that at least 60% of the total loans should be from the Shishu category is because you're trying to increase the new businesses, you're trying to support new businesses. If you remember, the startup scheme and stand-up scheme was also there, and I mentioned that Mudra Yojana is also such scheme. Now coming to Kishore, it says from 50,000 to up to 5 lakh, and Tarun 5 lakh to 10 lakh. So these are the three limits. Shishu being up to 50,000, at least 60% should be there. Of the total loan should be given to Shishu. Second is Kishore, a little grown up. So a little better enterprise, more capital requirement is there. That should be 50 lakh to 5 lakh. And then Tarun, now my enterprise has grown to such an extent that the credit need has now increased from 5 lakh to up to 10 lakh rupees. Most important of them is there is no subsidy for the loan given under Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. It is a loan which the government is given to you, and you have to repay the loan on time. Now coming to loans can be given by any financial institutions such as public sector units, private firms, foreign firms, RRBs, cooperative banks, microfinance institutions, non-banking finance companies, along with the scheduled commercial banks. So whenever we talk about loans given by government, the first thing that comes to my mind is scheduled commercial bank. It is not just scheduled commercial banks, it is scheduled commercial banks plus public sector undertakings, private firms, foreign RRBs. These are regional rural banks. Then I have cooperative banks, microfinance institutions, and non-banking finance companies. This is where sometimes the statements, when they are asked, you get confused. All right. So this is an important information. Now, which is the implementing agency? It is within the Ministry of Finance, but the implementing agency is Micro Units Development and Refinance Agency, which stands for Mudra. Micro Units Development and Refinance Agency Limited. It is a wholly owned subsidiary of SIDBI, which is Small Industrial Development Bank of India. So it is a subsidiary of SIDBI. It is registered under the Company Act, and it is a non-banking financial institution within the registration with RBI. So this was everything about Mudra Yojana. Now coming to the third scheme which is related to remission of duties and taxes on exported products. Now why am I so much concerned about this scheme? Again, this is for remission. Remission is when something is remitted, you are getting a rebate or you are getting, let's say हमको छुटकारा मिलता है जब किसी चीज से, of what? Remission from duties and taxes on exported products. So these are the three keywords. Why are they so important? Because in WTO, India is criticized for discouraging the incoming goods and giving subsidies and encouraging the goods that are being exported from the country. So this scheme was launched. The aim of the scheme was to boost the export scheme for enhancing exports to international market. So being WTO compliance, and also my aim was to boost the export into the international market. Now coming to the features of the scheme, first of all, the most important one is it shall be applicable to all the export goods from January 2021. So again, a very important scheme because it is from this year. So it is applicable from the year January 2021. It is WTO compliant and it has replaced the earlier merchandise exports from India scheme and the rebate of central and state taxes levies. So this was earlier set up. You had two schemes. One was for the exportation, for exporting material from India. There was a separate scheme for that, and also there was a separate scheme to claim the rebate on the central and state taxes and levies. Now they have clubbed it, and all of this has been replaced by the single scheme, which is WTO compliant. Now, what is it going to do? It is going to refund the exporters. It is going to refund the exporters the embedded central, state, and local duties, taxes. So, what is it going to do? It's to give them back, pay them back. What is it going to pay them back? 1 second. Right. So what is it going to pay them back? It is going to pay them back the state and the local duties and taxes that were so far not being rebated or refunded. So therefore the exports were at disadvantage. So what was happening at WTO? We were being accused that you are supporting your content or your material or exports, and you're discouraging the imports. But on the other hand, actually the exports were discouraged because this rebate was not given. So now we have created a scheme in which the exporter shall get a rebate here. All right. This is a very, very, very important step. Encourage the exports from India. Next is this refund would be credited in the exporter's ledger account with customs, and it can be used to pay the basic custom duty on the imported goods. All right. And this credit can also be transferred to other importers. So now you have given this flexibility also, that the amount that you are getting back or the rebate that you are getting shall be shown or reflected on the exporter's ledger and can be used for paying back the customs duty and for transferring the credit to other importers. These rates would be notified by the Department of Commerce. So it is the job of Department of Commerce to determine the rate, and it shall be based on the recommendation of committee chaired by Dr. G.K. Pillai, who was the former Commerce and Home Secretary. So, a lot of information from this particular area. First, I got to know about a committee which shall be headed by Dr. G.K. Pillai. Very important. What will Dr. G.K. Pillai determine? Dr. G.K. Pillai will determine RODTEP rates, that is the rebate rates, within which department? Department of Commerce. What is the significance? The significance is that finally the exporters will get the rebate which they were earlier not getting of the central, state, and local duties and taxes. This rebate or the refund shall be reflected on the exporter's ledger account, and it can be used to pay the basic custom duty on the imported goods, and the credit can be transferred to other importers as well. Right. So these were the three schemes, very important schemes for your prelims exam. We'll be coming up with more such videos. Till then, All the best for your prelims. Study hard. Thank you so much.